Hi, good afternoon, Chaminade Cross Country. I wanted to touch base about week 5 of the virtual race. And first off, there was a little bit of confusion with the titling for the weeks, so I apologize for that. We had on the schedule that we sent out to you guys earlier in the summer, we had kind of an introductory week before the virtual race started, and I had been calling that the first week on the schedule. But I changed that now to say intro week. And so that was, in my mind, week 1. And so this would have been week 6. But in terms of the actual virtual race, just to clarify now, this is week 5. So you're going to see another video up on YouTube if you've been watching these that still says week 5. But the date's going to be different on this week. So I apologize for the confusion. But regardless, let's get to what I would like you guys to do this week. For those of you guys in groups 4 and 5, you have a 5-mile long slow distance day on Monday. You have 4 miles of aerobic. Then you have an 8 by 1 minute on, 1 minute off. So remember, this is a fartlek style workout where you're going fast for a minute and then slow for a minute, fast for a minute, and going back and forth between those two paces. And you have 8 repetitions of that. Remember to warm up and cool down at the end of all of that to make sure that your body's feeling as good as it can the next day. You have an off day or some cross training on Thursday, and so make sure to take that easy. Especially in the summer, recovery is huge, and so make sure to be giving your body those chances to recover. On Thursday, you guys have 4 miles of aerobic, and Friday you have 4 miles of aerobic, and on Saturday you have a wave workout. We did one of these earlier in the summer, but this is still going to be a 2 by 1 mile on, 1 mile off. And the 1 mile that you're moving a little bit more at an easier pace is going to be at aerobic, and the 1 mile that's faster is going to be at tempo pace. And so remember, this is trying to get you closer to that 5K goal that we'll have during the season during races. So you'll do those. And since it is something that we're going to start off with aerobic pace, there's not a need to necessarily do a warm-up mile beforehand. If you want to cool down a little bit after the last 1 mile tempo, wouldn't be a bad idea. Maybe add on an extra half a mile. But it's going to be right around 4 to 4.5 miles for that workout. So that's going to get you to 21 miles. For groups 2 and 3, you guys have 6 miles of long slow distance today. You have 5 miles of aerobic distance on Tuesday or tomorrow. You have 1 mile of warm up for the Wednesday workout, 8 by 1 minute on and off, and then 1 mile of cool down. So same as groups 4 and 5. You actually have a workout or a run on Thursday, just nice and easy. You have an aerobic run again on Friday, and then the wave workout for groups 2 and 3 is going to be 3 miles of aerobic pace and 3 miles of the faster tempo pace. So 3 by 1 on, 1 off. So just make sure that you're saving up some extra energy for that Saturday workout. Those are intended to be a little bit harder and longer. And so make sure you're kind of preparing yourself for those longer workouts. And have some fun with them too. Remember, this is a chance to kind of experiment with some pacing. I suggest for all of these workouts, if you haven't been doing so already, wear a watch at the very minimum. If you have a chance to measure out the distances on some of the trails or roads or wherever you're running, that would be good. And even better, I would say, is if you have the opportunity to get a GPS watch, or if you have a birthday coming up, or maybe even sometime before the season, get a GPS watch. Those are really handy because they end up helping you to know the distance, the pace that you're running, without having to go back into it, like Map My Run, and actually measure out the distance of some of your courses. For Sunday, for those guys in groups 2 and 3, you guys just have an off day, and it's going to get you about 30 miles this week. Finally, for group 1, you guys have 8 miles of long slow distance on Monday, 6 miles of aerobic on Tuesday. You have the only difference between your workout on Wednesday and the rest of the group is you have a 2 mile warm up and a 2 mile cool down, and 2 mile warm up, 1 mile cool down, and you have 10 intervals of that 1 minute on, 1 minute off. So just make sure to be conscious of that. And depending on the approximations or the distances here, guys, are approximations. Since those are timed intervals, not distance oriented, then depending on how fast you run those, you might have more than 6 miles or you might have less. But the key thing to recognize there is that that's just approximately 6 miles for that day. So once again, that's kind of where the watch comes in handy, and you can get a better sense of how far you actually went. For Thursday, 6 miles easy, kind of recover so that you can get back and ready to run Saturday. 6 miles of aerobic on Friday, and the wave workout for group 1 is also going to be a 3 by 1 mile on, 1 mile off. Or I should say the aerobic pace is first and then the tempo pace is second. So make sure to start out easy so you can kind of get warmed up, but that is considered part of the workout. So you're going to do the 1 mile of aerobic and then immediately transition into the 1 mile of tempo pace and then back and forth between those two. So for group 1, same as with the other groups, you guys do have an off day on Sunday, and that's going to put you at about 38 miles for the week. So we're getting close to the day of camp, the first day of camp, which is going to be in about a week and a half. Make sure that you, or a little bit over that, excuse me. But make sure that you guys are, as we're getting closer to this, make sure you're either getting an earlier start, since the week of camp is going to be at an earlier start. It's going to help you feel better anyways, but I would suggest starting to get out in the morning if you haven't been already. Really start hydrating better, longer mileage that we're doing, and faster paces. Also, I would suggest anything that you can do to improve hydration throughout the day, whether that's setting a timer on your phone to drink a bottle of water every hour or hour and a half. That's really going to help you to recover faster and feel better the next day. Also, I want to remind you guys to be doing your devils. So this is a quick showing of what your devils are for this week. So you have burpees, bicycle kicks, heel toes, hip circles on each hip in each direction, dynamic stretches, and 5 minutes of static stretching. And finally, I forgot to put the person who said this, but Eliud Kipchoge is one of the most famous distance runners to date, primarily because he has been, at least recently, trying to break the 2-hour mark and in the marathon, and recently succeeded with some help and much controversy. But he's a pretty inspiring person to listen to if you ever get a chance to watch anything about him. There's also a Netflix documentary about his attempt at breaking 2. And so I would definitely suggest watching that if you're into how runners and professional runners especially, how their mindset gets them ready for big races like that. But I like this quote by Kipchoge. It says, "Passion is a choice. You need to choose to be great. It's not a chance, it's a choice." And you'll see that sort of inspiration come through in a lot of the things that he says in documentaries. But you'll see that coming through a lot in our races this fall and in the teamwork and brotherhood and commitment that we bring to the team every day. So that's going to start with the passion that you instill in yourself, and summer is a great time to do that. It's not an easy time to train, but you kind of have to make that decision for yourself to really commit yourself to what we're asking you guys to do here. And as always, know that I'm here. Your other coaches are here if you have any questions. And if you want to reach out for some additional advice or even just to talk running, we are always here and interested to do so. So Hope all of you are having a good summer and looking forward to seeing most of you in a couple of weeks. All right. Good luck with the competition, guys. Talk to you soon.